Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Agent Nemitz and welcome back today to another news video, NBA 2K21 Next Gen News. They just tweeted out a Next Gen blog post. I have read through it and I'm coming with some highlights for you, just so you don't have to maybe go in and read it all or whatever, but if you do want to, it'll be linked down in the description below, or obviously it's on Twitter. They tweeted it. I think they put it on their Instagram as well, probably their TikTok. I don't know, I didn't check there, but it tells you some highlights: rebuilt dribble movement, improved motion on defense, more realistic contact, new foot planting tech, PS5 exclusive controller features, and then a link to the blog post. This is on their Twitter. They just tweeted at 10 a.m., 10:01 to be exact, and I'm ready to read about it with you. I'll give you the highlights so then you, again, don't have to read all of it per se. But just get into it. There's a little introduction on what they're going to talk about. It's mainly about movement and contact, as you kind of saw. They kind of just talk a little bit about movement in the past 2K compared to the current 2K right there. Dribble movement, it was rebuilt from the ground up, they said. The only thing that they kept was the signature dribble styles that were introduced, I believe, in 2K19, maybe even 2K20. So they kept that, but everything else was scrapped and re-architected, they said, bringing the complete different feel with the ball in your hands for next gen. So that's kind of cool. They totally rebuilt the dribble movement and dribbling system besides signature dribble styles. They talked about protect and post movement and how that saw a massive upgrade, especially for post players. And how, like, you can do specific stuff with movement with the pro stick, and it just overall feels a little bit smoother, they said, and there's less randomness, like with speed boost or getting stuck in an animation while dribbling and driving to the basket or in the post and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool and good to hear, honestly, because I was one of those people who always get stuck in animations and it drives me crazy. But yeah, so then defense on ball, here's some highlights that they give him bullet points, which is nice. I like bullet points. So you can read through these if you want. They're pretty simple. Improved pathing, cuts and stops make defenders feel more grounded. Fixed a lot of the sliding. That's really nice. Overall improvement to motion, stability, and response. In other words, we smoothed out the techniques. Players can more accurately follow exactly what you're doing on the sticks, which is cool. I definitely noticed that on defense, that I don't know, sometimes I felt slow, but also I couldn't move places. It's kind of weird. Updated player size detection logic and greater emphasis on player differentiation. Bigs move like bigs, guards move like guards. That's huge. I feel like that's a huge statement that they're making, and I hope it's true. This includes a lot of new animations content to support signature motion styles, which I'm looking forward to seeing more of. It's gonna be pretty nice. You can kind of see Jimmy Butler playing some defense on Tobias Harris here. It's kind of cool. I like Jimmy's cut. Nice cut, G. Left stick taps allow you to play quick step, which are really helpful when you need to make subtle adjustments to your defensive position. That's something we're going to have to play with, obviously, but just a quick tap, adjust your position. That's kind of nice. I don't think that's in the current gen. So, yeah. Foot planting. As it shows right here, you see Donovan Mitchell sprinting up the court, and then after he passes half, he does a front foot plant, and then like a retreat dribble or a backwards dribble. That's kind of nice. Sliding in basketball is no good. Something we have to live with because of limitations in tech. I'm glad to say that next gen version of 2K21 takes a huge leap in that department. So they're saying that there's going to be less sliding around with animations involved and dribbling, and everything combined together is going to be less like floating and sliding around. And they added this foot planting, like better foot planting, because actually this looks really good. The only time I could do something like this is when I was trying to do a step back. Otherwise, I couldn't do anything like that. So that's pretty nice to see something like that. This is a video that shows quite a few different animations and scenarios, which I like. You got Jamal Murray, you got D'Angelo Russell, Kyrie, And it's really what this is about is the difference in defense and offense and the one-on-one game. They talk about how it's really more dynamic, and I think they kind of show off what they talk about. How, okay, so RJ just beat Jamal Murray to the spot, so he stopped him on defense. See right there, he stopped him. But right here, D'Angelo Russell got past Brogdon a little bit, and so he was on his hip, but he still could get to the rim and kind of beat him. And right here, Kyrie beats him, but then kind of slowly gets stopped over time. Let's go back to the Kyrie one. You see, he beats him with a nice step. Then he does a little step back because he kind of gets beat. And so there's just different scenarios. Those are 3 of them that they actually mention in here. They mention slow to react defenders, quick defenders, and this will probably be based on height and speed, strength, also your attributes. If your defensive attributes aren't very good, you're probably going to get beat on defense a little bit more than everyone else. Or if you're slower, like a big man guarding Kyrie, you're going to get beat. So that's something they talk about. They talk about off-ball contact, which mainly they show picks here. So like in the pick and roll or in pick scenarios, but also probably just in off-ball movement in general and getting stuck on people. There's less of a vacuum. I'm doing quotes, but it's totally true. You would totally get sucked into screens before. If they had like Hall of Fame brick wall and all this stuff, you would literally get sucked into screens and this stupid animation. But they talk about how there's less animations and more so control over things. And if you have higher defensive attributes, you have different options, sort of. So like you always have the option to go over, to go under, or if they're really good on defense and setting screens and your defensive ratings are low, they even quote it and say like die on a screen. You don't actually die, but like you get totally caught and fall down. Which kind of is like the animations that happened this year, but there's a rhyme and a reason to it now. So that gives you an incentive to be better on defense so you won't get those quoting die animations as often, which is nice. They talked about impact for next gen in the next section, and you can see here it's pretty cool, this whole clip they have Spida Mitchell driving in, and then he gets blocked by Brook Lopez on the help side defense, which you don't even see until the very last second. They talk about adding a whole new engine, or I guess that they're calling the impact engine. And because of the additions added in PS5 and Xbox Series X, the better power and processing and everything, they added this engine in, which allows for flexibility in that area, creating reliable contacts when players are in flight. We no longer have to take control of defenders while they're on the ground and pull them in place just to force certain outcomes. This will be most noticeable for paint defenders, as they have the freedom to maneuver their player into positions and make a play on the ball themselves rather than the game dictating what happens based on whatever animation happens. That is a huge statement right there. To further aid paint defense, the logic that goes into block targeting was improved, and we're using, I don't know if that's IK or 1K, more heavily now to get the hand to track the ball, as well as to minimize clipping. One of the main beneficiaries of the new engine is that we now have to contact alley-oops and put back dunk-ons for the first time in 2K, which looks sick and feel rewarding when you can pull them off. That's a lot to pack right there, or unpack right there. But basically how I understand it is less predetermined animations and more skill/control in the paint. So like if you do have a higher dunk rating, maybe you can quickly help, or not a higher dunk rating, a higher defensive rating, like Brook Lopez probably does. You can get over on help side defense quicker, I'm using quotes, quicker, and then you can block the shot a little more efficiently rather than it being a predetermined animation that like they float into place for, or get sucked into, or do something stupid with. It's less of that, less of random animations, and more of like a controlled skill type thing. From what they made it sound like. Again, this is what they're saying. We haven't seen it. We have not seen it yet, so we don't know. And then the contact alley-oops and putback dunk-ons sound awesome. I think that's what this is showing here. Contact alley-oops. That's amazing. Got LeBron lobbing to Dwight Howard, who's dunking over Marketing. That's so cool. And then you see this little video here of Damian Lillard running into Chris Paul. They talked about right here specifically how beating the shooters to the spot will yield in more successful charge calls on the offense, while being late will give you more blocking fouls. And they added crash layups to kind of show this when you're doing bad, like just totally running in and throwing your body into a defender will give you a foul, a blocking or a charge foul, and then you're just throwing up a shot, and that'll hopefully teach you not to do that, or you get a charge like this, which I think that's nice. I think some of the fouls that are in 2K currently, like they don't call charging and blocking fouls very often. Something that's not called as much as it is in the NBA. So this will be a nice change, I think. And then this is something about PS5 exclusive with the trigger, because they're adding like vibration and haptic feedback, and what was the other thing? Something with the triggers, adaptive triggers, and how they decided to use it, which is to when you're getting tired or stuff like that, sprinting, like holding the sprint button will feel harder to do, which makes sense. And strong players will feel very in the post, yeah. When you're like posting up, if they're stronger than you in the post, it's going to be harder to pull the trigger, the L2 or left trigger for Xbox. It'll be harder to push that, which actually it won't be on Xbox, so never mind. It'll be harder to push that because they're better in the post than you, rather than if you're stronger than, like, say you're Steven Adams posting up Beverly, it'll be really easy to push. So that's kind of how they decided to use it. And then for shooting, they said it's gonna like vibrate more when you're tired or something like that. Yeah, the haptic feedback part is right here. It'll vibrate more or less when you're tired or less tired. Yeah, and then that's pretty much the end of the article. They just kind of talk a little bit more in here, and they say that this is a week-by-week basis. So the next one is going to come out next week sometime. They didn't say exactly a week, but in the next week. And they're going to talk about, this is where it gets kind of exciting. Make sure to check out next week's final gameplay courtside report, as he reveals details about player builds, badges, takeover, and improvements to AI. That's going to be what's in the next week, or next one of these next gen gameplay things. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. That's the summary of that article. I'm going to move on to a couple little different things. I noticed that PlayStation tweeted something like a minute before 2K did, and improved impact physics, and they kind of talk about similar things. And then if you click on this article, it brings you here, which is a little bit different of an article, but I think it states the same things. It's just put out by PlayStation rather than 2K. So they're kind of trying to expand a little bit. Isn't that interesting? So I don't know, maybe they're going to expand into having PS or PlayStation post specific things. It's a possibility. And then this was the last thing I wanted to show you guys. I gotta mute that. I don't want to get hit with anything. It's the new Arrive in Style animation for 2K21 this year. It's kind of cool. So this guy joins a park, joins someone else's park, and the new Arrive in Style animation is really cool. Yeah, Gliddy or Glidey or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Probably shouldn't even said anything. Come on, man. Okay, here we go. So before, it was on a helicopter, and like a helicopter flew in and you were on the ladder. Here we go. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same. It's a blimp. You're on like a Legend blimp, and then you parachute. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. I thought it would kind of just be a copy and paste, but no, it's different. Look at that. Wasn't that awesome? I thought that was dope. So yeah, that right there, that ends everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. If you did enjoy, leave a like for me, subscribe if you're new or haven't subscribed already. Go check out my social medias, Agent MS Sports on Twitter. Here's the little icon and the logo for that. Yeah. And then also subscribe, all that stuff. I'm bringing you guys 2K news and 2K20, 2K21 content. Next gen content will be on the way when it gets here. We're about a month away. I think it's almost exactly a month away from today that PS5 and next gen stuff comes out. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new or haven't subscribed already, and I will see you all in the next video. So take care, have a great day, and bye bye.